So the data download just hit, and in about 23 hours as of me recording this video, closer to 9 or 7 or 8 hours as of this video being uploaded, we'll be getting Gomah. And Gomah looks ridiculous. This is not going to be any sort of review of the character. This is not going to be like telling you information you ever seen. You have probably seen this because people have been talking about how crazy it is. Let's see that animation because I have not actually seen the full thing yet. Ooh, he's smoking on that wet. Oh, he got the clouds floating around him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That looks really good. Gomah's animations, I think his weakest animation is his intro. And if you've seen anyone post online about him, obviously I don't know why they caked my boy up, but like what is this shot? Jesus, that is not what it looks like in the show. But I mean, his animation, you know, him drawn like that, he looks good, but in terms of like animation quality, it's not super high. However, I would say that every single Gomah animation besides the intro is elite. I think it is elite. If you're one of those people who's like, I pull because I like how the character looks, even if you don't like Gomah, like maybe you just think he's kind of like mid or whatever, like, you know, Gomah, he's not a villain that was done much justice. He's essentially, for anyone who's like, you know, unfamiliar when it comes to Daima, he was shown very early. He's like one of the first characters we see, and he's essentially given no room to develop at all. He's just a big bad evil guy that the heroes fight at the end. That's it. And he's a big bad evil guy who becomes a bigger bad evil guy, and that is Gomah. That said, they channeled like unquestionable aura into this character. He looks really good. Like, his animations are really up there. And it just goes to show that Daima is just a series that looks great. So the things from Daima are going to look great. I don't expect there to be essentially any weak Daima look characters that come out in terms of like their visuals. Daima just looks too good. If they're taking it from script, and that's the thing people kind of don't get about like Super, is a lot of Super animations for Dokkan. The Dokkan variants, you know, no shame to the animators or what have you, but it was all happening during a time of crunch. Budget wasn't there. So a lot of the Super animations for Dokkan look phenomenal. Like, because they're just essentially making them, you know, raw for Dokkan. And then you compare them to like the show and you're like, man, what happened? Like, what happened to this episode, right? So yeah, there's Gomah animation wise while I just talk about some things. So what to do about Gomah, right? He's coming in a very odd spot, November 12th. And obviously we have a few more characters deep that we need to go before we really get into where we were last year. So here is November. If you remember, I did a video just talking about what we got during this time. This is the heroes and hero slot. We can click here really quickly. This is the 21st. Prior to that, we had gotten the manga characters in this time slot. And then where is the actual, yeah, here's these guys. So we still don't, oh yeah, here's these guys, November 12th, right? November 12th is what we're coming up on as like our landing date for Gomah. Like, it is literally the same date. He is the fill-in for heroes. And in that regard, not only is Gomah probably one of the single best Dokkan characters ever on paper, but he's certainly better than every single heroes character they've ever released. So that's pretty cool. If they're going to treat Gomah like this, if this is the bar and we know that this is like the bar for Gomah, then Gomah might be one of those characters that looks really good every single time he shows up, which is exciting. Because again, what they tend to do is Dokkan tends to repeat themselves. So Majin Buu characters heal a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of like a thing they do. They're typically characters that stick around a lot. They heal a lot. And when you see a new Buu character, you'll probably see some form of healing on that character, right? If Gomah's thing is going to be like this, right? Like, you know, every single, because it's canonical, right? He had to get hit 3 times to knock the eye loose. So if it's going to be this, Gomah's gonna have a very good life in Dokkan. I'll say that. Of course, though, this is all to say, like, what do you do? What do you do if you're free to play or low spending? If you're a whale, you're gonna pull anyway. It doesn't matter. You know, if you're a whale, you're gonna pull. It literally doesn't matter what I tell you to do because you are going to pull regardless. If you are someone who values villains, that is to say, you are someone who your favorite thing to do in Dokkan Battle is to use villains, I would say that Gomah right now, before tests, and remember, and please remember, you can wait a day and see the true showcase. You can see him at 55%. You can see him at 100%. You can see him at 69% from someone else on Twitter. You can see him from 70%. You know what I mean? Like, you can wait. You wait one extra day if you're really unsure. Because we're in a period where you should be saving towards New Year's and anniversary. That said, if your thing is, well, anniversary is not going to be that hype for me because they're probably going to do mostly super units. They're probably going to do Super Saiyan 4 Goku from Daima and Super Saiyan 3 Adult Vegeta from Daima. And while I like those characters, I'm just like a villain guy. Maybe that's how you feel. If that's how you feel, then Gomah is the... People say villain savior a lot. I think Gomah is an insane villain. Look at his conditions. What does he need that, like, you can't really get here, right? Like, demonic power, you're gonna be running him on demonic power, or this is demonic power. You're gonna be running him on demonic power. It means you can use characters like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and guess what? The anniversary is probably gonna be Super Saiyan 4 Adult Goku, so you're gonna be able to put Gomah on his team probably. Terrifying Conquerors is the villain, like, team, essentially. It's like, you know, at some point we're gonna get Easy A Cooler, and guess what? He's gonna be on Gomah's team. And guess what? Gomah doesn't need you to be anything. Everything Gomah does is completely unrestricted outside of his intro. And if you're being so for real, with an intro that goes away anyway, it's not that, like, you know, this doesn't matter. I'm just saying that if you were to run Gomah at his absolute worst, you could easily slot 3 him. Or slot 2 him. Or just, like, hang on to this as long as possible. Even still. Because it's not like every single fight is just a bunch of characters hammering slot 1 anyway. Right? Gomah is that villain. And when you consider as well that he's also increasing defense, he's a slot 1. Villains typically don't have access to great slot 1s. And for that reason, let me just pull back over to here really quickly. So let's look at, like, a villain team. Let's just consider, like, a strong villain team. Omega Shenron. Where's Omega? There you go. What is Omega Shenron's slot 1 situation like? Well, sometimes it has to be himself. That's just, it is what it is, right? He's on these categories and he leads these categories. Sometimes the slot 1 has to be Omega Shenron. It just is what it is. A lot of times he's hoping to put Goku Black in that spot. Sometimes it can be some more miscellaneous characters who dodge, or characters who are maybe on the outs, like the Cell Easy A, or even Omega Shenron AGL here. Like, it could be. But a lot of times, as you're noticing, you're really still relying on a few characters. Again, of course, Super Baby is a character who dodges and he guards. So you could, if you need to, you could put him there, but, you know, it's not what you want. But as you're noticing, like, I'm going through, like, his team, essentially. This character, obviously, is, like, a definite slot 1 for him. As you're noticing, though, there is, like, an inconsistency there, especially with, like, your runs. If you're not playing one of the events where you can go into it endlessly and just reset for rotations, you are noticing there's a weakness there. This guy does not have that weakness. There comes a time where if you want to enjoy a certain thing in Dokkan, you get, like, hit with, like, the reality of something. So if you went all in, and I'm sorry to say this, if you went all in on Super Saiyan 4 Goku, remember when I was pulling and I said, you know, we're close to anniversary, we're close to New Year's. I don't really want to go all in on Super Saiyan 4 Mini Daima Goku, even though he's amazing, right? I said that. I said, even though he's amazing, if I don't get him, shoulder shrug. It is what it is. Guess why I do that? Guess why I go into banners and I say, I'm only spending my 300, 400 stones because I'm free to play / low spending. I play with only the subscription. It's because when they drop characters like Gomah, I didn't go 1,000 stones in on Goku. I didn't go to pity on Goku. You know what I mean? I have the option where I'm looking at Gomah. I'm like, yeah, I can go 500 on Gomah. Easy. Easy, I can go 500 on Gomah. Why not? For a character who's going to stay good, for a character who's going to remain like powerful for villains for a long time. Like, look how many teams he's on. He's on 10 teams, right? Like, obviously it's not the same as like Goku, who is on you know, just a fucking ton because he's a Goku character, but like really consider what 10 teams worth of help is for like villains, right? So this is 8, right? If I go to cards and I go back to right here and I go to Shenron, how many is he on? He's on 7, right? Gomah's on 10 teams. For villains, that means a lot. 10 teams and he's not really conditional. So if you're someone who's like, I have over 1,000 stones, I've been saving since Worldwide Download Celebration or Global Dokkan Celebration, and I'm really considering Gomah, this is going to be one of those rare times where I'm like, yeah, no one can call you dumb for spending here. No one can call you dumb for spending your stones here. You still have essentially 2 months, 2.5 months to get ready for 11th anniversary. That's not bad. Anniversary usually gives 1,600 stones, 1,400 stones, somewhere in that range. I would say that by the time 10th anniversary or 11th anniversary comes around, you're going to be working with, let's call it a safe 2,000 stones. Let's say if you spend on Gomah, you get Gomah, you miss Gomah, whatever. By the time that the 11th anniversary ends, you should have made back at least 2,000 stones. So if you're looking at Gomah and you're like, I kind of want to throw like 500 at him because I love villains, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. Obviously, you can do what you want to do. You know, I can't be mad at you anyway. It's your stones. But this is one of those situations where just remember that at the end of it all, if you decide to go for Gomah, just stop after Gomah. I think really stop after Gomah. Save until the 11th anniversary, you know. And if you don't pull for Gomah, remember this logic still. Stop after whatever you pull for next. We're within that range. Stop after anything you pull left. Okay. Hopefully this made a lot of sense to y'all. Good luck summoning if you do. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club. We all gonna make it. And peace.